What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of making my DA Integra naturally aspirated again, and you're going to want to stay tuned for this one. Woohoo! All right. Like I said, this is part 2. In the last episode, we pulled the turbo kit pretty much completely off. I should say, yeah, we did pull it completely off. Now we are doing some of the technical things like injectors, the ECU, remapping. I had to reroute oil lines, remove them from before, and basically change some things up. And I'm going to show you guys what all I've done off camera so you can kind of catch up on the build thus far. So what I'm working on currently is I removed the 1300cc injectors. We had the Blox Eco-Fi 1300s. These are the ones that I was running before. This is a good bang for your buck injector. I pretty much had them maxed out with the turbo setup we were using. So we're putting these back in the car. This is what I had in the car when it was an NA. These are the Blox Eco-Fi 550s, and they worked out just fine when the car was NA on E85. So as far as the mapping goes, what we're doing is we're going to flash the NA map back on this car to at least get it drivable, that sort of thing. Hopefully I still have the tune saved on my old laptop. I have to go through it yet and verify it's still on there. Otherwise we might be kind of screwed. So yeah, as long as that's on there, we can at least get it flashed back to an NA tune. And then we're going to get it retuned, probably by King Motorsports more than likely, on 91. I don't even want to dick around with the 85 anymore. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. One of the other things I did was I had to take out the Speed Factory 4-bar map sensor. I got the OEM one, the Denso one, put back in, so we have the same map sensor in there because it would definitely not run with the 4-bar in my other map. Intercooler, I didn't show that in the last video. I got that taken off the front bumper. We relocated the oil cooler further into the bumper. Before it was like out here. Now it's back in a good 6 inches or so. That way when we put our front lip on here and our arrow, that isn't in the way. And if we do end up bumping or crashing when we're doing our wheel-to-wheel racing, it's set back in there. We don't have to worry about spraying oil all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish getting these injectors in, and then I'm going to show you on the back of the block what we're working with and what I had to do there. Alright, so we just got the injectors swapped over. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Being that we're using used injectors because they were already in this car, I had to clean the shit out of them. I had to run brake clean through them to clean them out by like tapping the positive and negative on a battery multiple times while trying to hold on onto the battery wires and doing that and spraying brake clean at the same time. It was a pain in the ass, but I did get that done. I got the injectors installed. So they're all in there. Got my catch can hooked back up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to raise it up and show you on the back side of the block what we did with the oil lines and everything. Brought little Benny with us today. He's hanging out at the shop. What's up, buddy? You don't like all these loud noises, do you? It's 4th of July weekend too, so people have been launching off fireworks pretty much all night. Been scared, so yeah, you didn't get much sleep, did you, buddy? This is the back side of my block here, and I want to kind of show you guys this because it is doable because I've been running like this for the last 3 years. We actually have 2 sandwich plates stacked on top of each other. The bottom one here feeds our VTEC conversion kit. The top one here has 2 AN fittings on the top side of it that feed our oil cooler. So these lines here are hooked to it. And then we also just added this. This here is a digital oil pressure gauge. We've been running a manual one for ever with a like plastic line that ran to the back of the gauge. It always kind of dripped and it was like super sketchy. And I've had this gauge sitting around for like probably at least 2 or 3 years. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to throw it on, clean everything up, make it look nice. And then I'll have a digital gauge and it won't leak. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, maybe a long time ago, but we do have the PCV box all blocked off. This is one of the plug kits here, in case you're curious, because we're running a catch can and it goes off the valve cover. But yeah, everything cleaned up pretty nicely here. So pretty much what we're waiting on now is the header to come in and the intake. Both of them are on order. We have a Skunk 2 Alpha V1 header coming, and then as far as the intake goes, I was able to find a piping kit that is supposedly for this car, and it'll run the intake down into the fender well. There's like really no companies out there that make them. I think AEM had one, but they were like 14 to 18 weeks back order, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. And the other ones I saw were just short ram intakes, and I didn't want that. I want a full length intake. So once the header comes, which hopefully will be this week, we'll get that installed, and then I'm gonna have to build probably like a section of pipe to go from here to the header. I'm not sure where it's gonna end exactly. Hopefully it's close to a straight shot so we don't have to do too many pie cuts and angles. I don't want to have a million hours into the freaking thing, but I think with this full 3-inch exhaust, it's going to make a big difference. Our tune is probably going to be off because the tune that we have currently we're going to be flashing as long as I have it on the computer. That tune, we only had a 2.5-inch exhaust. It was kind of restrictive, and I think we actually had a Skunk 2 header on here before. I don't remember. It's actually on Cindy's car. I'm pretty sure it is. I sold that to her. I actually sold my whole exhaust to her for her DA Integra like a year or two ago. So she has that. But I think that might throw the tune off, as well as the intake's going to be a little different. But otherwise, everything should pretty much be the same. So it'd be exhaust and intakes different. So I'm sure it won't be too far off. It'll at least be runnable, fingers crossed. But what I'm going to try to do now is I'm just going to see if I have my old tune on the computer. And if we do, we're just going to fire it up for just a second, even though you're open header, just to see if it starts. And then we'll shut it down and we'll wait for the header to come. Before I forget, I wanted to show you guys this. So this is what I had in the block before for the manual oil pressure gauge. So this threaded into the block, my factory oil pressure sensor threaded into the end there, and then the line that I had that went to the gauge came out of here. So we deleted this and ran the new one, like I showed you, right to the sandwich plate, and we put the factory oil pressure sensor and we threaded it right back into the block. And this thing, it leaked out of the compression fitting, like right here. It was annoying. I mean, it wasn't a big leak, but you could just tell that it would be wet after like a track day. It's kind of stupid, but something else we got here. This is not my favorite company either, but 1320 Performance has a flange kit for a reasonable price. We can get it out of the box here. So this is what we're going to use to start to make the pipe that'll go from the header to the 3-inch exhaust. We're gonna have to step this up. This is a 2.5-inch pipe with flange. We're gonna step it up to a 3-inch and then weld another vibrant 2-bolt flange to this. So I think that stuff will probably all be on the next video. This one's a short video, not a whole lot of action going on here. But we'll try this ECU setup, see if it'll start, and I'll show you the new gauge assembly too. So that's the new street glow gauge. It's got wires to the back of it. Before it had like I said, the old one had a line to it. So this is a smoked one. When you turn it on, it changes colors and blah, blah, blah. Nothing real special, but it's a street glow branded gauge, so it's name brand. So yeah, that should be a little bit of an upgrade for us. All right, so like I said, this computer is super old, and I was really worried that it wasn't going to have any of my tunes on here. But looking at it, I do have Clayton Ellis VTEC E85 King tune, latest all motor. And then I do have this one down here too. So between those, they should work. I even have my old B16 King Motorsports tune from a long time ago too. So yeah, kind of interesting here. So yeah, we'll get this bad boy flashed onto the ECU and see if she starts. So there's our new gauge. I was able to get the file from the old laptop onto USB, and then I put it onto our new laptop, and I just uploaded everything. So we're gonna see if she fires up. Well, that's a good sign. It runs. So now we pretty much just got to wait for the intake and the header to come, and we'll hook the OBD2, or sorry, the wideband O2 sensor up and see what we're getting for air-fuel ratios and how close we actually are on the tune. But it's a good sign. So I'm excited now. We are one step closer to our road race car. Totally psyched that it runs with the old tune and injectors, and we don't have any fuel leaks and we don't have any oil leaks, at least not at the moment. So yeah, that's probably gonna be a wrap on this video. On the next one, we are gonna be installing the header and intake, hopefully they come around the same time, and we'll get that stuff on and we will go for a little test drive. Oh, we're gonna have, like I said, we're gonna have to build the exhaust portion of that to the test pipe area, but we'll do that and hopefully be able to maybe take it for a test trip. So if you guys could, please like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and we'll see you on the next one. Woohoo!